get into it. We can get into it. Body fluids on the floor, get into it like a hood. We can get into it. We can get into it. Body fluids on the floor, get into it like a hood. What's the motion? Swing a right finger with a left, going straight, take the heart out his chest. Nut buck in the club, homegirls lose the heel saying, fuck my new curls and fuck them bum bitches. They talk like they hands on Mike Tyson. It's killed to be killed when I'm fighting. My sisters not watching, they jumping like double dutch. They like transition cause violence is given, soft bitches is tripping.
I'm not transgender, non-binary. I don't want to be searched by a man. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man. I claim my Fourth Amendment rights. I'm not transgender, non-binary. I don't want to be searched by a man. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man. I claim my Fourth Amendment rights. Those are Nerf guns, just in case you worry that they're bullets. Those are Nerf bullets.
Thank you for letting me
They are fake and they are a toy.
Thank you for letting
me know. This is my belt buckle and my Nerf bullets.
I appreciate that.
Please don't take them from me.
Did you know Kang the Conqueror, aka Jonathan Majors, was recently booked on charges of assault, harassment, and strangulation?
You learn it? Did you want to fight? Is that the deal? Whoa, bro. Fight?
Jonathan Majors was arrested Saturday, March 25th for a litany of pretty terrible crimes.
The Flash is on the run. Ezra is on the run after allegedly kidnapping an 18-year-old girl who apparently Ezra groomed since she was 12 years old. Here's a picture of Ezra Miller, and on the right, 18-year-old Takata Iron Eyes.
Said they rescued her from Ezra Miller's home in Vermont where she was kept for 3 weeks without her cell phone or ID. Ezra Miller is calling the parents transphobic, but it doesn't look like the public's buying it.
Claims against embattled actor Ezra Miller continue to mount. In a new report by Rolling Stone, a Hawaii father says he is concerned for his 3 children who are staying with their mom on the actor's farm in Vermont. The father claims there are guns and marijuana easily accessible to them.
It's a huge blow to what seemed like the quickest and hottest career path for an actor in recent years.
Jonathan Majors, they want to compromise your masculinity, brother, because you are a strong masculine man. Don't let them.
I mean, it seems like almost overnight, Majors went from a talented but unknown actor to like the biggest thing in Hollywood.
Those stiletto boots, don't do that no more, brother.
Creed 3, Loki, Quantumania, Army commercials. The man has shot up to the A-list in a seriously fast way.
Who here has committed crimes in their illustrious Ezra? What have you done?
A lot of stuff.
All the cool mugshots that he has.
Yeah. I've got a good mugshot collection.
And with good reason. He's hella captivating on screen. But this recent arrest might just be putting all of that to a halt.
My name is Ezra Miller, and I am criminally excited to be a part of the Justice League.
Welcome to Dudes Brewing.
It's your boy.
Yes, sir.
Bender.
Kells. Back in the place to be, guys. Back in the mix of things. You know what I'm saying? On the ones and twos. Look a little bit different. Just a little bit different.
Cut it all off.
Yeah. It's part of the perks of being an entertainer, actor, or whatever. But yeah, this is all...
The only reason I can talk about Mike is because he's a freak. He is a freak. That's why people let you talk about it. Because if I brought up Catholic priest fucking kids, it'd get quiet as shit. But when Michael Jackson does it, it's okay because he's a freak. His face is all cut up. But just remember, when you look at that thing that he calls his face, that he did that for you somehow. Somehow he thought you might, maybe it'll help. Maybe people will like me more if I turn myself into a white, ghoulish-like creature. I don't know what the fuck it is, but he did it for you. And I appreciate the gesture, Michael Jackson. If you're watching this, I appreciate that gesture, and I want you to know, fuck everybody, Dave Chappelle understands. Because you want to know something? I'm getting some work done. Surprise, yes. Nothing major. You would never know if I didn't tell you, but it's some shit I'm insecure about that I want to work on. If you must know, I'm getting Botox done on my balls to get these wrinkles out. Finally, and have these shits smooth as eggs.
I look like a different man. Whatever.
I was shocked to see him.
Embrace it. Yeah. He walked right past me. He didn't even recognize me.
Like, get away, strange man.
It's all right. Sometimes he leans into alleyways and I don't see him.
Darkness, you black midnight evil motherfucker. Black magic darkness. Wrong. Darkness. You fucking
Delirious motherfucker. Ah!
Just joking. Chocolate.
Ain't no alleyways around here.
Yeah, exactly. Anyhow, City Boys, we up.
Yes. Today's topic.
Yes, today's topic, guys. We're here to cover weak men. All right. So we did a subject on toxic femininity, and we kind of debunked the idea of toxic masculinity. It's hard to be toxic off your man's physicality. Masculinity is just a part of what there is in every society and every culture. If you don't have a military that's masculine, it's going to fall.
A2 service rifle, lightweight, magazine fed, gas operated, air cooled, 5.56 millimeter, capable of taking down the enemy with one shot. Okay, put the finger on the trigger and fire when you're ready. How's this ever gonna work?
And that they were just gonna let me rot away in the armory for the rest of my career, like they do to all the shitbags. But I got lucky. I met an amazing man, and he might be the love of my life. He's handsome and smart and kind, and he makes me feel good about myself. Life can be really hard for a girl in my position, and it's nice to have someone who understands me and listens to me and accepts me for who I am. Well, after a few months of leave and then work in the armory, I was finally approved to go to Parris Island.
Oh, what was that like?
It was a little weird at first because I was still going through my transition to a woman's body, but I'm a grunt and I've been through worse. So it was just a minor speed bump. Don't get me wrong, drill instructor school was challenging, but like I said, I'm a grunt, so I'm no stranger to challenges.
Did you ever feel like you had an unfair advantage over your peers?
Well, I wouldn't say unfair, because I like to think I work harder than everyone else. But I think that my experience in the infantry made me better able to mentor my peers and to push them and challenge them to be their best.
So what rank did you graduate in your class?
I was first in my class.
So you need a defense mechanism, and so masculinity is all physical, but we did want to do a juxtaposition to what we covered with ladies and explain what is truly toxic about some men is weak men. So you might ask, what is weak men? And so weak men can be summed up in a few ways, but we would say men that lack emotional intelligence. So an example of that can be, say, like your gamer bros that are so in love with their video games that they've got posters of their favorite video game character, like girl character in the background, their fantasy like video game girlfriend.
Does anybody want to take damage? Please!
Like this guy literally just shot.
Oh! F*** me! What the f***? Oh, f***!
Pero no me tapes, eso, entra. Se me ha craseado, bro. Look, ven.
Some of the anime guys that fall in love with these anime girls with these huge cartoon bosoms and boobs and babes.
Hardcore K-pop guys,
yeah. Or it could be the K-pop type guys that are very romantic in a very Disney type way, where they're sitting on stage and they're doing African American hip hoppy dance moves and dressing like an African American, but not respecting or giving a shout out to African Americans. Essentially, culturally appropriating R&B music.
For years, the faces of effeminate men have dominated East Asian pop culture.
But now, Chinese pop stars and actors, once famous for their feminine looks, are slowly changing their appearance to be more masculine.
The Education Ministry's response to a top political advisor's call for more physical education to make boys more masculine has triggered fierce online debate.
什么叫男人？你们现在还不能称作是男人。
You can't be called men yet.
现在是娘炮泛滥，知道吗？
Sissy men are everywhere now, showing guns, tanks, war, military, men doing manly stuff, saving people. They have movies that resemble our old movies from the 80s, the 70s and 80s, action movies. Yeah, you know, you don't have to agree with the CCP on anything or whatever, but at least on certain points, they get it right.
You know what's off limits in China right now? Girly men in the movies. September 3rd, Amazon released its remake of Cinderella. This is news to me. I haven't caught the movie yet. This is featuring Billy Porter, whom I've never heard of, in the role of a genderless fairy godmother. So he's a guy, but he's like from what I take it from the costume, he's like a flamboyant, gender-bending fairy godfather mother. Officials in China have called for, quote, resolutely putting an end to sissy men and other abnormal aesthetics on television. The party also instructed entertainment producers not to cast actors with, quote, lapsed morals and incorrect political positions. And they're banning reality shows that feature the children of stars, arguing that these promote a, quote, unhealthy preoccupation with vulgar internet celebrities, as well as an admiration of wealth and celebrity.
And this little boy is actually B.I. Yeah, the B.I. that you know. Okay, and they're going off in a fucking stick. They're taking him off in a fucking stick. I just can't. There was a time when no one really cared about cultural appropriation.
Welcome to my palace, champagne in your chalice.
Yeah, this is my palace, champagne in my chalice.
Hold up, let's take it from the top. Hot box, booming system, drops the pure rock.
Hold up, let's take it from the top. I fox gets my swerve on, floors pure rock.
Make a touch upon it. Make a rub, make a love, make a rub, make a touch upon it. Happy riding in the city. Make a go, make a go, make a see your body body. No, they do like bolo. Baby, don't act like a bolo.
This is something new, the Casper Slide Part 2. This is something new, the Casper Slide Part 2.
지루한 이 party 속에 날 춤추게 하는 건 이 star. 함께 따라 따라.
First things first that I want to speak on is this. A member of TO1 wore a do-rag during KCON in LA, and they were performing that. And we didn't know that he had the do-rag on until he took it off at the part where the, yeah, nigga, that part. Yeah, nigga. Mamamoo, Stray Kids, BTS, J Park, Enhypen, aespa, Dreamcatcher, Blackpink. It's like every time it's like Miska, like every time, every single time. It's like you get hit with something every week. Body shot, headshot, dreadlocks, do-rag, putting all this imagery of other cultures. One, could be for publicity. Two, they could actually being appreciative of the culture. Or three, they're mocking it.
I was full Korean and people were aware of that. They just called me 감둥이.
That's not a nice word.
That's not.
A while ago. Yeah, 감둥이.
Oh, it means neither.
You said the N-word. I don't know how to spell it, so I don't know what it means.
We're sorry to say it, but it's like racism. Bad word.
It's a bad word?
It's rude.
It's rude? What does it mean, like?
Skin tight.
Oh, for black people?
Yeah. We don't think that as a good way to call people either.
Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you.
During the 2015 summer package, Jimin made the comment that if he got too tanned, he might be so dark that they wouldn't be able to see him in their upcoming music video.
That's essentially what K-pop is. Yeah. But anyhow, these type of guys are very Disney about their idea of love and romance, and it's not realistic down to a day-to-day standard that it isn't necessarily fully respected, you know. And and another example of that also can be your emo rock guys.
With your heart on the line, I really fucked it up this time. Tonight, my dear.
Together part, bro. I don't give a shit. This is a motherfucking complicated,
Oh hell no! With the cut hair to the side and the blue hair dye, you know, your Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance type guys. A lot of these dudes, these are people that I've come in contact with. Some of them are cool. And a lot of them I really found enduring, you know, just like my gamer bros. Like, I'm a gamer as well. Like, I grew up playing video games as well. Yeah. And there's some of the most cool dudes because they just like tech and they just like colors and they just like art or whatever. But they lack sometimes a gauge on reality. It's almost like they live in a VR fantasy of what, you know, they think love should be like without understanding traditionally what male and female roles are. And men have to stick according to tradition because we don't have the luxury of not being masculine at any given point. If someone breaks into this house or apartment or wherever, we're look like we have to defend it, right?
Oh, yeah, there's no one in the
right?
house.
You know, otherwise, you know, like her, you know, your lady's attraction might dry up. Like,
well, it definitely does.
You know? Sound effect. ASMR, okay? I'm sorry, it's a little inappropriate, but whatever. Enjoy it.
It definitely does. And to go back to what Kels was saying is not living in the reality of the world and having, I think, I like games. I like gaming. I like the art around it.
Yeah,
but I also
like
live
tech, man. Yeah.
in the real world. So you have to understand that these are two separate things. And a lot of these men live in this virtual world where people are creating women that are not real.
Yeah.
So you're falling in
avatars.
Yeah. So you're falling in love with women that are not real women.
Yeah.
So a lot of women who back these guys, you realize you're backing men who are in love with women that are not real.
Yeah.
So that in itself should freak people out.
Yeah,
is
that might be a red flag to a lady for sure. If she really assesses it and go, man, this guy, he plays his games for like 12 hours.
And look at the women around his room.
Yeah, he's got a bunch
of the triple D's or
triple
G's or whatever they are. And her waist is about like this big.
Hentai girls everywhere.
You know? But somehow waist proportion to everything is out of whack, and he's like, this is my dream girl, but you still think this is the type of man that you want to lead, or that you think is most appropriate to start a family with you.
When he's detached from reality.
Exactly. And that's what Kels was talking about, is these people, majority of them, which is sad to say, they don't live in our reality, our real world.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's why a lot of them are the way they are. They will jump to your defense because in their cartoons, that's what the dudes do too.
Yeah, that's literally what they do. Yeah,
they do. The cartoons or what? And the game. Sorry, actually both.
Yeah,
they be jumping to these ladies' defenses. And also, if you think about it, if you ever watch some of the stuff they watch, some of these games are very perverted.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of girls don't watch it or play it or whatever it is, but they are very perverted.
From most assuredly having sex with his girl to getting beat up and moving back with his family.
Granny, don't!
Darius James.
So the fact that you're
but they're perverted because they know that men like
that stuff.
They like that stuff.
But
so they designed the characters intentionally
to be like that,
to show those physical features that men like.
But it's funny that a lot of women will be like, nah, yeah, back me, and I'm like, if you saw what he watched, you wouldn't be backing him.
Yeah, you wouldn't want him yelling and shouting because he probably can't fight, you know.
Oh, God, no.
And his idea of fighting would be grabbing a weapon or being a school shooter. You don't want some guy that he's not able to control his emotions. You know, he lacks stoicism and what ladies would term emotional intelligence. So it's good for you to ask for emotional intelligence, and also, like I said before, explain to these men when you say emotional intelligence, you mean the ability to recognize how you feel and adjust it.
Yeah.
So that way you're not just this uncontrollable, big crying monster bear that runs around and breaks things. So yeah. So it could be these gamer guys, some of these gamer personalities or whatever, K-pop. It could be the emo guys. It could be which I like my emo rock fans. I think there's a lot of people. I would say when you're around 17, 16 or whatever, you feel a lot of people young feel like, you know, they're at the break of their youth. It's them going into their adulthood. So a lot of 16, 17-year-olds, they're going to this phase of like going into their room and locking their bedroom door, and you feeling like everything's about you, and you feel the pressure of your parents going, where are you going to school and what are you doing with your future? And so a lot of these kids, what they do now is like, before they would just go in and lock their doors and they'll start listening to rock music and they'll go through a grunge dark phase or whatever, thinking that they're on the edge of society. Honestly, I do like some rock music. I can listen to some of it, but the idea that the world is going to end and you're going to have a slicked off haircut and a biker jacket and black eyelashes and black fingernails, it's freaking goofy. I'm sorry. It is so goofy to walk around and act like the world's ending. And you've got on like lace clothing and you're trying to be a vampire. It's like, really, dude?
I genuinely used to think it was just what white people did, because growing up, even the minute amount of black friends or even friends who weren't white, I literally just thought it was just a white person thing.
That is Eurocentric culture.
Because I'd never seen that, and my mom had never seen anything like that.
Gothic, it is Eurocentric culture, and that can go back down to religious times or biblical times. So even some people that were, because Rome at one point, the Roman Empire, before they converted to Christianity, they believed in Mithraism and deities and gods. So they believed in a lot of dark, human sacrifice type stuff. And that still never left Europe. So that's why you're seeing the UK.
But I still don't think they were rocking.
Not fringes and nail polish. But that feminine aspect of it is Eurocentric. Because obviously when it comes down to even the origins of like say LGBTQ, it goes back to Greek. These were all birthed out of Greek, Roman times. These are European-esque things. They're not things that every culture around the world actually had going on or that they actually want to embrace. They probably had one or two or had a few people here and there, but it was not something that was nationalized like it was in Greece, Rome, and then to Italy, where you'll see statues of two dudes holding each other or hugging nuts or whatever. I'm just joking. But they were hugging each other, and you go to Africa and you see a male and a female. You see a pharaoh and you see his wife. Yeah. So it's not everyone's culture, and that's the reason why in some aspects of LGBTQ, in like say even Russia outlaws it because it's not according to their values and stuff. But back to the subject, the Gothic aspect of things of making everything dark and fingernails and somewhat, a little bit effeminate, that's all Eurocentric. And so the gothic crowd, when you're at 17, you feel like you are dying. Your youth is dying. It is a metaphor. Your youth is dying. You are going into your adulthood. It doesn't mean you need to go get your gender changed or that you're born in the wrong body, which is what this social engineering crap they're doing right now, where they're kind of grooming kids to go, hey, swap your identity.
Welcome to beautiful Canterbury University. You can study at our indoctrination camp with production design, gaming, or trans rights. You can go back home during your school breaks and fight with your parents about the patriarchy and identity politics. That way, you can buy into a whole philosophy and your whole adulthood gets derailed. Don't let men grab the door for you. Hey, and get more in touch with your feminine side. Here at Canterbury University. Sponsored by the UN.
You know, and it's being promoted that way, you know, and it's not cool, which is shouts to gays for groomers for calling that out, you know, so because they like people that, you know, if they become that way, they just become that way off their own growth and intuition that they recognize some things when they were small. And all this still goes back to parenting, you know, how you turn up as an adult. But they don't want it being pushed on them by teachers and students. So yeah, you don't need to chop your dick off if you decide, if you feel like, you know, you're going through a phase at 17 and you're like, oh, I'm a little tomboy now. It doesn't mean you got to chop your boobs and become a man, or you got to chop your dick off and become a girl, you know? Yeah. Whatever you choose to do, there's a consequence to it. Just have a deep think about it. It's not something that's just as simple as they're making it. But nevertheless, this is what we're saying. Don't make making decisions off emotions out of these type of personality types, the gamers, the gothic rock guys, the emo romantic guys, the K-pop guys. That's what's dangerous for society, you know? And men, like I said, we can't turn back the clock on our traditionalism. We don't have any recourse when things fall. Is that we're looked to perform. They'll go, oh, you're a man. You're a man. There you go. He's homeless, but yeah, he's a man. Can he get up and get a job? We can't sit in the corner and just go, oh, like there's no hope for us or whatever, because the world won't save us. We'll still sit on that stoop, in the corner of whatever street we're on, whether that's Queen Street or some corner in some part of your city. If you're homeless, there's no one coming to save you. People will walk past you by and go, you'll be fine. And that, you know, they're already underneath mental distress from not knowing where they're going to sleep every night. But on top of that, people subconsciously will think less like, he's still a man. So there is no men. We don't have any recourse for us to just be unaccountable and emotionally vulnerable and put ourselves as victims.
The problem with the world is actually weak men. If men got together and said, this promiscuity is bullshit. If men got together and said, hey, we need to step up and be stronger and be better, that is the only thing that will allow a woman to actually let go and let him take that masculine role. I am a big believer that a man should never cry or show emotion from a woman. And the reason is because if you were to translate the words, he's screaming, I can't take care of the situation. You can't trust me. And so the woman's like, man, I better get masculine real quick. It's like what you're talking about with the man dies. Yeah. The women are scared because men are weak. And if men were stronger, women could trust them more and let go. And whether you like it or not, fall into that feminine frame, because I think that's what they're naturally propense to do. The weak men are the biggest problem in the world.
Which is why I think Andrew Tate has become such an enormous threat to the system. Yes. This guy is in the way of really bad people who recognize that it's an absolute necessity to weaken men to do what they want to do. Because who's going to be on the front lines of saying, no, you're not going to take my property? I'm not putting my child into an indoctrination camp. That's going to be the man. It's not going to be the woman in that house. So they need those feminized men who are going to, oh, really? Maybe I can line up for another six-pack scene. You know, like that nonsense is what they need.
Yeah, I'd call myself a feminist. I think I prefer somebody to be in an open relationship because I want to fuck around.
What about child pornography?
That's kind of a different thing. There's like moral versus pragmatic sides of that. I've seen a little bit of evidence on the pragmatic side, and it seems like an okay thing. I probably shouldn't say that, or it sounds bad.
Oh my God, bro! Oh hell no, man! What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy!
From what I've read, apparently men that are given access to child pornography have a higher chance of not actually committing pedophilic actions in real life. And I would argue that that would be a moral good, that if you can prevent people from acting on those urges, that's something that should be explored. I
heard the bisexual guy, which is Destiny. I don't know if you know all the information about him. He's bisexual. He sucked dicks from time to time, and he let his woman to sleep with other men, and he's okay with it. And he's liberal, and he's atheist. And now he have now recently, like yesterday, I guess you saw it in Twitter, he have opinions about the Islamic marriage. You're not a real man. Like, you're cock. You suck dicks. You let your woman, you're not territorial, even like a biological male, human species male are territorial. Like, they protect their woman. He's okay for his woman to be banged by like 7 guys and coming back to him, and he's totally okay. And now he have opinions about the Islamic marriage.
I don't like predators, period. I don't care if you're offending or not offending.
Okay, hold on. Who disagrees with Brittany? Who disagrees with Brittany?
Well, if you just because you molest a child doesn't
I
make you a pedophile. That's not.
Yes, it does. Yes,
We have a burden of performance, so
Unless some, I don't know, in the future, some feminism wave, but for men, meninism comes through, and suddenly we don't have to work and we don't have to.
Nah, there's no such thing.
No, I'm making a joke.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying unless that happens, which is not, it's obviously not going to happen. It's not going to be a march around the world where we're like, we don't want to do 80 hours a week anymore. We don't want to do this. We also want to be the same.
Masculine men built the cities you live in. If your firefighters, your electricians, your plumbers, your guys that go in and do labor on oil rigs, train tracks, the guys that keep the infrastructure of your city alive was to stop working today, your city would fall apart. There is no group of male feminists that are like, yeah, we're gonna go and be electricians. They're going, oh, we can't play our games today. Oh fuck, you know. So and same with, you know, we love our ladies, but there's no ladies that are gonna want to go sign up to be digging holes in the ground and be plumbers and do certain manual labor jobs that are considered a male's job, you know.
They're not sought out after jobs, so men do them. That's the thing. So if they all just disappeared or went into a whole vibe, yes, I truly believe that there'd be a big hole in the market, and
there's the infrastructure of your entire city or country will collapse. Yeah. So you need to value men that get up and do the work, you know, that they do. But nevertheless, some of these men that are weak as well can also be applied to dudes like these guys with big beer bellies. Some of these dudes, unhealthy guys that might be older. They might be truckers. Sometimes these guys end up being perverts. You know, these are the ones that are dangerous for society. It's them not understanding their masculine role and burden of performance. That's why it's good for men to actually improve and work on your fitness. They were explaining that they did a study. I think it was just this past year, if I'm not mistaken, that they were saying there was just like a lot of medications would be eliminated. A lot of psychological psych meds would be eliminated if people just went to the gym. You wouldn't need to take antidepressants if you just went to the gym. Because if you take care of a strong body creates a strong mind. In order for you to keep going pushing weights, you have to mentally convince yourself to push beyond the max. Yeah. To just keep going.
And through the pain.
Yeah, and through the pain. And by doing that, this is why sometimes you get guys that end up becoming gym junkies, because they get a huge endorphin relief off that push, and it becomes it's a dopamine hit for them to keep going back to it. It's the same effect that you have when you check your Instagram timeline. And people do that. They get addicted to their cell phones just because of all the visual presentation that is going directly into your brain all at once. It's a lot of visual stimulation all at once. So if you have phone addiction issues, this is like a tip. They say if you have an iPhone, you can go and grayscale your phone, cut it on grayscale. Some of the corporate guys know this as well too. They do this in the corporate environment. And in order to keep them under self-control from not wanting to grab their phone and check their Instagram account, put your phone on grayscale, and it becomes less visually appealing, and you won't want to grab your phone as much.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it kind of help get yourself under control so you can get tasks done.
Yeah.
And
because people don't realize how much time they spend.
Yeah, and reward yourself once you get the task done by cutting back on your camera onto the color aspect of it. But that is what gets people addicted, is the dopamine hit of that visual stimulation. But for what I'm saying, from an idea of mental health type subject, what negates a lot of need for mental health is just understanding, if you decide for psych meds of depression, is just to go to the gym. And it's what Andrew Tate got famous for. Andrew Tate blew up on YouTube because he said, depression's not real. I don't believe in depression. Why do I want to believe in something that takes power away from me and take that in as that's gospel for my life? He's like, no, go to the gym, lift weights, build a strong body, because it creates a strong mind. So shouts to Top G.
Oh, si da la dina, oh, si da la dina, oh, si da la dina, oh, si da la dina.
Part of the motivation why we even started our channel, you know, not him, multiple factors, fresh and fit guys, whatever.
He also talks about eating good too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing you can't forget is if you're playing these games, and for weak men you're living a fake reality, and then you're putting these really bad processed foods in your body while mixing in not moving, and you don't mind glorifying that aspect of life. In fact, you won't argue to stand up for men who are in that area, but you will happily attack a man who goes to the gym, is pursuing a career, has his business in order, is helping young men. That man is a danger to you. But men in their basements, overweight, eating terrible food, listening and watching hardcore pornographic material, which is studies have shown are terrible for young men.
Fapping all day long.
But that is okay. That isn't an issue to look into.
No fap.
But that the other side, which is these men who go to gym, oh well, they're arrogant, they're gym junkies, they're fit.
Yeah.
They most of the guys that I know who gym actually their structure of life is amazing.
It's disciplined.
Because
that's what makes the man, and that's what makes if a lady has interest in you, ideally these ladies that are of value, that have interest in you, they will value you because they'll see that you have the ability to set a goal and complete it. That's called discipline, you know? So if you can build your body up to a certain standard, that is a reminder to her, oh shoot, this guy is actually able to say he's going to start something and finish it. That's more commendable than anything.
And it's not an easy task. And with all, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but sitting down, playing games, eating nasty ass food.
Yeah,
Charles can agree that's the easiest thing to do.
Eating Domino's and Mountain Dew for days and stuff
and sitting down playing games.
Yeah, and
anyone can do that. It doesn't take brain cells.
Yeah, and beating the meat.
Yeah, literally the easiest task in the world. You don't need a zitch of skill.
Yeah,
but going to the gym myself, when I first started, I didn't realize it is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. There are days you don't want to go. In fact, there are whole weeks where you're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
What am I gaining from this? And then when you pass for me, I passed almost like a line.
A threshold.
A threshold. That's what I was looking for. And you go, wow, I've put on 10 kgs. I've lost 3% body fat.
Yeah.
And I feel good. You have more energy.
Yeah.
You feel, this is just for me, I have more energy, I feel more clear, I feel more organized.
Yeah.
And I think these are things that young men should be looking into doing. Weak men
of course.
Look at it as, oh, you're arrogant. I think weak men look at men like that and go, well, you're just trying to show off. Well, I'm sorry that living a healthy life, trying to look great is showing off.
It's showing off. But we'll tell you, exactly like Andrew Tate said, it's pretty hard to be depressed while you have a six-pack.
There we go.
Pretty fucking hard to be depressed when you have a six-pack.
You know what? That is very true. Most of the guys, I went to an all-boys college. Most of the guys who were overweight, they were very fucking sad.
Yeah.
But the other thing is I think it was two guys who, one of them, a real close friend of mine, who put in the effort, went to the gym. He was pretty happy.
Yeah.
Got the body he wanted.
Yeah.
Which meant it gave him the confidence he wanted.
Yeah.
Which meant it gave him the confidence to speak to the girl he wanted.
Exactly.
It was all a ripple effect.
Yeah.
It started off with just wanting to be healthy. Then it turned into confidence, which turned into, because he looked good. He
Yeah.
actually did look good.
Yeah.
And then the girl that he thought he couldn't get, he could get.
Yeah.
So all of this plays a part with each other. So
Yeah.
I just genuinely don't understand how you can shit on someone for
for them disciplining their lives and taking care of their lives. And just to tell you guys really quickly, competence equals confidence. So competence means your ability to understand something and adapt information, even what we're talking about right now. If you can be competent enough to understand, if I can discipline my life together and structure it so that I have a routine, that person that I meet, this lady that I meet, will respect me for me being able to set a goal and then complete it.
Yeah.
And that's the reminder of why it's important to build your physicality on top of, it helping you with any type of idea of depression or sadness or anything, is that you take care of your health, which is a component of that,
100%.
and what you consume. And so what you mentioned about Andrew Tate, that's a beautiful segue into what I was about to talk about, where there are men that shit on men that have their lives together and that actually believe in themselves and they actually want to set goals for themselves. And I talked to Binda about it. I likened it to the aspect of me myself being an actor and being in in New Zealand or anywhere, but being in an environment, some people can mistake that your competence, your confidence in your competence equals arrogance. Then that's how people treat Andrew Tate. There's people that have an extreme disdain for Andrew Tate.
I hate, man.
Yeah, I hate for him without understanding this is what he's portraying himself to be.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
Essentially, Andrew Tate is portraying himself to be like a wrestler, like a Hulk Hogan, a heel, a wrestling heel, or he's I likened him to Ali G. He's putting on a performative act, and you gotta not forget he's from Luton. He's from the UK, so there's a bit of dry humor in there where it's kind of on the nose, and you think he's being literal.
Ooh, yeah.
And he's not being literal, but he's doing that for entertainment value. But essentially, the guy he's giving all these tips around his entertainment value of planting little seeds of things that matter, and you have to put candy in the medicine. And that's his way of getting the younger audience's attention. That was his method, was to put the candy in the medicine.
Because if he just spoke, it would just be boring, and no one would.
Yeah, of course. He just talk like, guys, you should just do this, blah 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 blah. It's not gonna resonate. He can't do a Jordan Peterson approach.
Yeah.
Because Jordan Peterson, he does appeal to a younger crowd, but his vernacular is very intellectual.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it requires a lot of actual
you have to think
patience and thinking. Patience, which is what a lot of young people don't have. Yeah. So forgive our videos for being very long. But yeah, there's weak men that find Andrew Tate's discipline, his wealth, his ability to have gotten there as a problem for them, because essentially it's a reflecting mirror to make you look at yourself and go, how did that human achieve that? How dare he must have cheated. He must have done something wrong, illegal, to have gotten to that point. I remember when I first moved to New Zealand, maybe a year after I moved to New Zealand, and I was here. I was signed to a modeling agency. I did some commercials, and I did a gig, and I got a nice little payday out of it. It was a Samsung commercial. I got a great little payday out of it. But I lived with 3 LGBTQ ladies at one point because I was staying at a backpackers when I got here. I was trying to find my way of getting settled. I didn't know whether I should get an apartment, whatever the case may be. So I moved in with my friend who was a photographer, shouts to Owen, and he had 3 or 4 flatmates that were all LGBTQ. One of them I will speak about later because it's part of the subject matter. But these ladies, for some reason, saw I had some nice things, and they were just like, well, why? How did you get all these things? And, oh, you're from America. Oh, okay. Well, why do you have nice things? And why do you want to move in here as a flatmate? You know, can't you get your own place? And it was very just like, you know, why you have this and that. It was looking down upon the fact that I had great things. And these ladies broke into my luggage and stole things out of my luggage that, you know, it was a Louis Vuitton belt. It was a nice watch that I had. And they broke into my things because they had such resentment and angst that I had something nice.
And it's also the fact that you can't get it yourself. So you usually take from other people that you can't get.
Mm-hmm.
When you know deep down you can't get the body that the guy's talking about. You can't get the cars, the houses. So you'll either talk down on them, tell everyone I hate them, or you'll take it.
Yeah.
Or, lastly, you want to see it all go away from them.
Yeah.
Which is happening to, you know, Andrew Tate at the moment. People don't want to see him have all those nice things. And people will be like, no, that's not it. It's because he did these bad things. No,
it's
because
not.
At the end of the day, before he even got in trouble, you hated him.
Yeah.
And even before then, you hated him. So it doesn't matter if he's whether it's this or he could be 120% innocent.
Yeah.
You will find a reason to hate him because in retrospect, you hate yourself. You hate the fact that you're not living the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
And we're humans. Just be truthful to yourself. There are times where I'm like, man, I should be doing that thing that young guy's doing.
I should do better. I gotta get my life or something. I have to plan something. I can't just wing shit.
Don't lie to yourself. I'm not lying to myself. I'm just looking at that guy and I'm not going, oh well, he's arrogant and I bet he's a drug dealer. First of all, who cares what he does in his private life?
Human trafficker. I saw a PDF on the Associated Press.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
it's just like that young woman is living her best life. It's about you.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
You can obviously look at other people and go, wow, that's great. But it's about you. What do you want?
And people hate that mirror being reflected on themselves. But it's necessary that we see people that are working on their lives and they're doing great things. And because, you know, we need good examples of like, hey, I can't achieve that. He's a human. He did it. That means that I can do it as well. And not everybody that has success is because they necessarily did something horrible to get there. The man, as far as Andrew Tate goes, he did a legal business. He did a very legal business with webcam work. Whether people like it or not, it's still legal.
Well, people are doing OnlyFans,
And,
okay? So, like, you can't shit on him for being like, he has a bunch of women on video. There's Becky from down the street who's 19 doing it.
Yeah, who's volunteering to put herself on the internet. And then a lot of these ladies do get male management because men are good with delegating certain things in a way that some ladies just aren't. Men are good for certain things as far as different.
It's always been like that.
Different ways of planning because there's less emotion involved.
And it's always been that way. If you look at the history, whether it's Playboy, whether it's Hustler magazine, where every some of the heads of like other porn internets,
studios,
they are all run by men.
Now,
if you're gonna go after and be like, well, you go after all of them. Go after Playboy. Go after Hustler. Go after Pornhub. Go after all these porn. First of all, you'd put a lot of women out of work if you start coming after them.
Yeah, that's just a, you know, that's a rabbit hole in general, and that's a long battle for somebody that wants to go seek it out. And like I said before in one video, if your government really cared about disinformation, misinformation stuff on the internet, they would ban all porn. They have not banned all porn. So they don't care about bad stuff being on the internet and conversations being on the internet fully, other than to try to control context. They want to control the messaging, which they used to have when we watched TV. Now, hardly anyone watches TV. We go on YouTube. As you can see, we're here.
Everything's online.
Everything's online, and now they want the ability to control the narrative, you know? But back to Tate, you know, people hate on people that are successful. And so quickly with
especially weak men.
Yeah, especially weak men. So in the case of my story with me being an actor, I explained I had these ladies that broke into my luggage, you know, and they happen to be LGBTQ, and I'm not saying that anything was wrong with them, but it's just people having insecurities and having their weaknesses. So in the context of someone that wants to be, the difference with someone that is a entrepreneur, business owner, an artist, like an actor or a model or whatever, is that it takes a certain degree of belief and tenacity for you to find yourself worthy of for you to invest in yourself, for you to find yourself worthy of being a brand, you know, because when you create an original idea, then that is the brand, whether that is you marketing yourself as your own business as a performer or musician or whatever the case may be, or you're starting your own business. It's still you believing in your own idea. And so in order to believe in that idea, it takes courage and competence that you can complete things. And so that confidence comes from your competence. And so it's not that these people feel like they're better than you. It's just that they already did the work to say, I am worthy of having great things in my life. Now, because you haven't done the work to believe yourself of being worthy of having something on the level that you think they're on, because you might think they're more successful than they actually are. There's people that look at some entertainers and they're like, oh, these guys are loaded with money, and they're not.
Yeah.
You know, so whatever you make up in your mind is actually, it's just a projection of you and your viewpoint.
Yeah.
You know, from whatever world you live in, which is your social world, and that is your reality. But that's not everyone's reality. But these artists and these entrepreneurs and these business owners, they did the work on themselves to find themselves worthy. And so you have to do the work to believe in yourself, because if you don't do the work, you will be resentful of the fact that they actually have good things, that they're doing well. And that's the dangerous part about weak people, is that sometimes these weak people, whether that's a weak man, weak female, male, female, whoever, if you're a weak person in general, you'll get into a position of authority and you will abuse it, because you will resent other people that are coming up, because you'll have a scarcity mindset that, oh, there's not enough room for all of us, and I need to make sure that person doesn't get ahead. So there's people that will stifle your career actively because they're so afraid that there's not enough opportunity for people. And these are people that didn't do the confidence building in themselves. They go, wait, I'm worthy, you're worthy, we all have different perspectives, there's enough room for all of us, you know, to, you know, profit or make entertainment or be on TV or be on a photo shoot, whatever the case may be, or have a business. There's room for everybody, because everyone's POV is different from each other's.
Saying that should be dangerous. By dangerous, that implies I should be ready to threaten someone, to hurt somebody.
No, you should be capable of it. But that doesn't mean you should use it. There's nothing to you otherwise. Like, if you're not a formidable force, there's no morality in your self-control. If you're incapable of violence, not being violent isn't a virtue. People who teach martial arts know this full well, right? If you learn a martial art, you learn to be dangerous, but simultaneously you learn to control it. Both of those come together. And the combination of that capacity for danger and the capacity for control is what brings about the virtue. Otherwise, you confuse weakness with moral virtue. I'm harmless, therefore I'm good. It's like, no, that isn't how it works. That isn't how it works at all. If you're harmless, you're just weak. And if you're weak, you're not going to be good. You can't be, because it takes strength to be good. It's very difficult to be.
Why are you afraid of being weak?
If you make yourself weak, life is very hard. If you make yourself weak and you suffer stupidly because of it, you will become bitter. And once you become bitter, you will become vengeful. And after vengeful, there is no limit. That's one of the things I learned from studying totalitarianism in the 20th century, because I studied it from the psychological perspective movements. I was interested in the motivations of the cruelest Auschwitz guard. What was he up to? Or the person who went and shot up the elementary school in Connecticut. What was he up to exactly? Just exactly where did he dwell and why? It's like, well, weakness made him suffer stupidly, and that made him cruel, and that was just the beginning.
If people come to you and they got anger, and it's really coming from somewhere else. Like their road rage is coming from their life. It's not coming from the car that they're in. But you don't got to respond by putting your middle finger up back at them, because if you do, they may be already at the edge and they're going to crash, and you just caused them to crash into you when they would have crashed into something else.
Yeah,
you know, when I look at it like that, I go, let me just control when I'm aggressive about things. And then when I do it, it's calculated. So now I mean it when I'm doing it.
It's 4 a.m. Club just ended. I was in a chicken and chip shop. It's an English thing. They sell like fries and fried chicken. And there's a long line. And an Audi with tinted windows pulls up. These 3 big black guys get out, push straight in front of the whole line, go straight up to the front, cut in front of 5 people, and start ordering. My girl goes to me, "We've been waiting here ages." I said, "Shut the fuck up." Shut the fuck up. She goes, "You're just gonna let them push in?" I said, "Shut the fuck up." Anyway, 2 in front of me, he couldn't tell this bitch to shut up. She's like, excuse me, there's a line." And the guy turns around and goes, "You think I don't see the fucking line? I don't care about the fucking line." So she starts running her mouth. Bro, this dude knocked her the fuck out. Clean, out cold. By the time her man looked at her and looked back up, boom, sparked, done. And I stood there and watched both of them just laid out clean. The 3 dudes who ordered the chicken and chips didn't even take their food. They started laughing, walked back out, got in the car. And I turned around and said to my girl, "You see, some people are just ready to fucking go to jail. Some people are ready to kill people over fucking nothing."
This is why weak people are very dangerous. Weak men are very dangerous, you know? So another example of weak men and weak people is like your school shooters, these guys that you see in the US that you see on the news, they went and shot up a school, you know, or they did something out of emotions, you know? So ladies, please be careful when you're telling guys to be emotionally vulnerable. It's very bad advice, because you might be cultivating a future school shooter or rapist to go, you know, he's like, "I'm just feeling, do I deserve this?" Rather than him earning it, because he earned it from his confidence, from his competence, from him actually building himself, whether that's physically building himself so that he has options with the lady, and financially building himself up too.
And Cal doesn't mean have no emotion. He's saying emotions
are a part of masculinity. Yeah. We feel breakups way deeper than women feel breakups, because we're not presented with opportunities of romance, especially at a young age, or companionship, to put it that way. Not romance, but just having the ability to have a relationship with a lady. We feel like we don't have those opportunities, and we don't, because when we're young, we're not of much value. You as ladies, when you're born, you're of value immediately. You're beautiful, you have your youth. As you become a teen, you know, you develop or whatever, and you get attention from other boys in school and other people, classmates you go to. So you're already of value. But a guy who's in your same age group, he's not going to get that same attention. So he's looking around going, "Well, damn, I feel worthless. She's got the boyfriend she wants, and I don't know if I'll even have a girlfriend." And this is why you have these guys falling in love with cartoon characters on the anime or their favorite video game, is because that's what they've made up in their mind to stimulate their lack thereof of female attention. But a lot of men don't understand is that that's normal, that it's normal to not have a lot of lady options until you establish yourself. And most men aren't really established until they're in their mid-30s, when at that point, now they have a career, they have a resume of stuff to show social proof that they're of value. You know, they built something for themselves. They have a gauge of what they've done, you know, whether that's either through their 9-to-5 and their position at the 9-to-5, or if they're just an independent contractor, which takes courage as a model, as an actor, and they've established themselves. So yeah, so this is why we're doing this podcast. We want to remind young men that it's perfectly normal to not be of significant social and societal value when you're in your teens. It's normal as a man. You know, that's what makes us a man, is the building of us. You have to build yourself up by not chasing after ladies and this Disney thing, but chasing your excellence so that she'll respect that you can provide and that you can protect and you can provision, because she'll say that she can do it. She files for a divorce, she's going to ask for half your shit.
Did you know Ashraf Hakimi's wife filed for divorce and demanded half of his property? She was, however, informed by court that her millionaire husband owns nothing, as all his property is registered under his mother's names. Hakimi receives €1 million from PSG monthly, but 80% of this is deposited in his mother's account.
La noche y el día. La noche
y físicamente la noche y el día. Uno es muy racial y el otro es blanco y rubio, o sea, nada, la noche y el día.
¿Esos ojazos, alguno
El pequeño un poco.
Suck it up. I don't care if you're tired or not.
Hold on with all the suck
But
it up talk, man. You
I
can't
don't. I'm just saying that some women don't want to
say
have.
something about sex and then sucking. Don't do all that on the live. Just move on.
Okay, guys.
All right.
I'll say more on Wednesday.
Yeah, just whatever, man.
So
Just
the women.
So like
Anyway.
I said, it's just, we
Whole
just have
point.
to take that off. the
No,
plate.
I mean I don't suck it up because this actually is very enjoyable for me. So I'm very happy with the physical intimacy and the frequency in which I'm having it. But the reality of it all is that does help men. It really does you just suck it. Some women don't suck it up. I'm not saying, I didn't mean it that way.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm saying what I'm saying.
You don't know what you're saying. Don't
hear
say,
me
just
out.
leave that word. Just leave
Hear
it
me
out of
out.
here.
I'm trying to keep it G. What I'm saying is just we as women, sometimes y'all,
going well.
sometimes y'all act like you don't want to be intimate with your partners. And I'm being honest with you, being intimate with your partners helps them. And it helps you too. So just, make it a priority. Schedule it. We, as parents, we have to schedule it and be intentional about scheduling it and making sure we have time for each other so that...
In all areas.
Right.
Thank you. Just keep it general.
Yeah.
All right.
Just stop
So,
there. Okay.
I think we want to wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we are not here to become anybody's relationship goals.
Absolutely.
Because we are far from perfect. We are far from flawed, and we are not therapists. We are not. Well, my wife is a therapist. She is an LCSW.
Before you get in the car, can you have a moment? Look up at the house.
Yeah.
Give me something that feels like we had a life in this month for 5 years. I don't know who you, and just walk away like no association whatsoever.
A lot of men are shocked to find out the woman that they've been sleeping with in the same bed with for years have countless of memories over the years. After a breakup, that same woman treats them like they were nothing to them. You will become a distant memory in her life story. Well, part of the reason why they can act so cold is because when they initiate a breakup or divorce, they have already mentally checked out a long time ago. They did not just wake up one day and decide to be done with you. They've been planned it. They've planned it for months and years ahead. They've been had their replacement lined up. Sometimes you already know him. He's the dude she told you not to worry about. He's the dude that she just said is just a friend.
Y'all, breakups are definitely harder on men. And I'm not just saying that. Studies back this up. And I'm about to tell you why. Studies show that men are more emotionally invested in relationships. And there's not much of a difference between men and women in infidelity in relationships. Men tend to not have so much outside support. Normally when they're in relationships, they're confiding in the person that they're with. Women, on the other hand, tend to confide into their friends, family, and other support systems. So men don't have that sense of support on the other side of the relationship. It also tends to be harder for a man to decide to be in a committed relationship. So when he's in it, he tends to take it very seriously. Women are also more likely to seek out other supports like therapy in order to process through the breakup. So y'all, let's stop the stereotype. Relationships matter to men. Men do feel pain. Men's emotions and feelings matter too.
I don't want this woman back. If I wanted this woman back when she called me and said that she was ready to reconcile after a year of us being away from each other, I would have took her back. You're suddenly ready to reconcile? I'm in a relationship with Zelly. You think I'm finna just go chuck this woman away? That's not gonna happen. Today is Wednesday and I want my husband back. Okay.
What does the caption say? I want you both to love your kids. Who the fuck are you talking to? I'm the father. I'm the father. You're telling you who's never met the child, you're telling me that you're so interested in this little black child that you've never met. You're so interested in this black child that you've never talked to. You're so interested in this child that you've never seen. But you are going to lecture me as the father. I just want you to love your child. This is a divorce. I'm trying to get away from this bitch. Ain't nobody said nothing about the child. Why are you assuming that I don't love the child? It's my job.
And that is a part of that provider. Oh, you're a man. You got to take care of this baby. I need a divorce. I need alimony. You can't, and the government and family court and judges will remind you, you don't have the option of not handling your duty as a man.
Yeah.
So therefore, sorry, that is the reality. You have to build yourselves. And it doesn't matter what any lady will tell you. If you're having to meet a great woman and, she can add value to your life to either help your business, or if she's doing great in some sort of way and her own, and she's not emasculating you, that she's doing better in some sort of financial capacity than you, and she has something she brings to the table, fantastic.
Yeah.
But if she leaves, there's still no recourse for you. No one is coming to save you. She will get saved by her friends, her girlfriends, the government, family court, social programs. She'll get saved by everybody, her queer mates. You, on the other hand, you're a man. End of discussion.
It's just life.
End of discussion. So yeah, so your school shooters, these type of guys, that's what it also fosters and creates. These guys that don't have any control over their emotions, and that's horrible. You don't need that. Another thing that we pointed out, which I'll show, is that guy. There's a guy named Destiny, which I'll show in general. I've already showed regarding Andrew Tate. These type of men that are very, I would say, almost male feminists, and it's fake. They're doing these things to kind of cater up to get ladies, and they're portraying themselves as like, an
ally.
Yeah, an ally, a feminist ally, and it's just like, no. It's like you're being fake so that you can balance out that juxtaposition so you have access to ladies. Yeah.
Well, it's like not being
genuine. And we talked about that on the
we did talk about
on the
that.
toxic femininity episode.
In short, it's just everyone knows guys like that. We've all gone to school, or we have friends in a friend group that are like that. And the end goal is not a long-term goal; it's a short-term goal. A lot of men who are like that I've grown up and understood is, they don't have much to give, whether it's in the physical aspect, the financial aspect, or all three aspects.
Yeah.
And their way of getting in is pretending really well to be highly into the thing that you're into, whether it's hardcore feminism, whether it's the ballet, whatever it is.
It's to gaslight you. It's essentially gaslight you so they can have an opportunity.
And then you will give them an opportunity because you're like, oh, he's such a nice guy. Well, sure, any idiot can pretend to like your shit.
Yeah.
But
can tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, and it gets their foot in the door or in the bedroom, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
So I think if those are the type of men you want, sure. And I said short term because it doesn't last long. There's only a human can only pretend for so long. I think
big time.
You tend to see the true nature of a lot of
and what it turns into is the shit that the dude Destiny was dealing with. It turns into an open relationship.
Yeah.
Because she's not going to be fully turned on by your beta and you simping in some sort of way that goes, well, you're pedestalizing her constantly so you can have that access. She's going to go, honey, I'm enjoying myself, but, I would like a little bit more freedom. She's going to do a Jada Pinkett Smith on you, essentially, and be like, hey, either let's swing or allow me to sleep with other dudes and bang me.
So I choose to allow my girlfriend to sleep with other men. That doesn't give you the right to call me a cuck. Why don't you try going a day in my shoes, where you are with someone you love very much and you want them to be able to express themselves physically and spiritually in a way that perhaps they can't do with just you.
Haram! Haram! Send her to Saudi!
Now, personally, I would never sleep with another woman. I love my girlfriend very much, but I know that her needs require her to have the right to explore that territory. And if it means I have to sleep on the sofa a few days a week, then, so be it.
You know, because
she's looking for
because
something.
she needs that masculine energy at the end of the day. And there's nothing toxic about masculine energy. It just means you have the ability to protect and provide, and that's actually what she likes. Whether she realizes it or not, she finds out that way. A lot of these girls that sometimes end up becoming LGBTQ, they end up doing they're a female version of a male or a toxic male. They'll be flexing, they'll be sitting there doing the lady man pose, and then they'll be getting a dude's haircut, and then they'll be doing their impression of an abusive male boss at their workplace, and it's them trying to fill up a masculine void. So there's nothing wrong with masculinity, and it's doing, and that in itself is, no offense, it's doing a low budget version of a man. It's man facing essentially at the end of the day. That is the truth of it. It's you trying to do your impression of what you think a dude is. So, but that's what I'm saying. How can you talk about masculinity ever being bad when you yourself are trying to mimic that and do your own faux impression on it? Just like you might complain as a potential feminist that you don't like woman face. You don't like these dudes that are doing X changes. They're changing their gender just so they can win the Olympics and they can take all the rewards and all the awards across. And now they're talking about, they're winning Woman of the Year. These types of things are like, that's what we're saying, is that it's sort of, everything's kind of gone into this convoluted like mix of things. And that's why we're saying for men, we don't have the luxury of sort of like towing the line on things to create a false reality. Like, because we are reminded constantly by society, you're a man. Yeah. And that's not bad, because if we decide to become like the Roman Empire and become very soft, guess what comes in? Some vandals from the outside that burns down Rome. And that's what happens to every civilization. You need masculine men to be the front line to defend the country in general. So therefore, it's a norm. And that's why ladies like true crime, because they care about, these men that were able to commit brutality in some sort of way, But we don't want emotional men going out and creating brutality or becoming rapists, because they're like, oh, I'm emotional. You didn't give me what I needed because you promised me and I bought you flowers and I bought you 3 drinks. So that's why we're advising men to not do things that they don't innately feel in themselves. Don't allow someone to finesse you for a drink.
Do you keep your baby father from your kids? I think that you should be charged with something, because you're putting your kid at every statistical disadvantage for what?
Is that hyperbole, or is that like the actual fact, Paul?
Well, I'll tell you the facts. 90% of single parent homes are headed by women. 90%, right? 63% of youth suicides are from single mother homes. 90% of homelessness and runaway children are from single mother homes. 71% of high school dropouts are from single mother homes. 70% of youths in operated institutions are from single mother homes. 80% of all youths in prison are from single mother homes. 85% of children who show behavioral disorders are from single mother homes. 80% of rapists with anger problems are from where? Single mother homes. So like Spell says, you're putting your child at every statistical disadvantage when you choose to just be a quote-unquote single mother.
And let her abuse her femininity and get you to do something out of character. So emotional control is very important for men. So emotions are a part of masculinity. Men cry, we do cry. We feel it, and we feel pain. We feel breakups on a deeper level than you do. When ladies can just leave and have a new guy the next day. Ladies will break up with a guy mentally 6 months in advance, and the dude will still sit there and think everything's perfect. And when she breaks up with him, he's like, oh my God, well, why are you leaving me? Where are you going? And so he ends up almost what they would deem stalking her. But really, in reality, what the dude is trying to do is he's trying to find out what the fuck happened, because you up and bailed and he didn't see it coming at all. And that is normal. The guy's not crazy for trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Even if you go around and talk about the guy badly to everybody, oh, look, he still likes me. Look, he's still writing me. He wants to, he's still looking at my, because you up and left. And ladies, you have the luxury of doing that while you're young and really, abusing your femininity and taking your youth for granted until you get to your 35. At our 35, we're feeling like we're 19 because now we built ourselves up to that value and we're treated like that. There'll be some young person, that might be, we're Leonardo DiCaprio type age, and there'll be an 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old that wants to give us the time of day. By the time they turn 23, we drop them like hot fucking pancakes. No, I'm joking. But anyhow, I'm just trying to say that, like, there's no lady that doesn't like older men. There's so many ladies that just go like, I'd rather date a guy that's older than me, because guys in my school, they're very immature. That's normal. You know what I mean? But men don't understand that we don't have that opportunity until we take care of our lives. And so men can't be emotional because they end up being rapists, school shooters, dangerous to society, menace to society. So that is what is toxic. And the weak people in general, people that haven't done the work on themselves to build their confidence up so they won't resent successful people in some sort of way and think everyone's done something nefarious and that's why they're confident, because there's enough light for all of us, but you got to deem yourself worthy of it.
Men are the people that invented, built, and maintained society. Let's not bullshit around. Look around the room right now. There's not probably anything in this room that a man did not invent, build, and maintain. That's no disrespect to women. I think a big misconception about the space masculinity is his hatred towards women. I have zero hatred towards women. In fact, if we love women, we will make men better for women. I need better men in this world for my daughters. I need better men in this world for my sisters. It's nothing against women, but in order to get a grip on the situation, you need a substantial amount of more strong men so women can happily be inside the frame of a strong man.
So men, stay strong out there, and protect and provision. We have to do that for ladies, whether they say they don't need it or not. She divorces you, she'll need your provisioning and protection, So
Go to the gym.
Don't listen to anything that person says if they say they want otherwise. Even if they don't take anything from you, great. But by all means, understand you do have to protect yourself and there is no recourse for you. Go to the gym, take care of yourself, play some games after you go to the gym, reward yourself with that if you like the game. Matter of fact, turn your gaming into a business. Start a YouTube channel. Start a comic book YouTube channel. Do something that you love and enjoy, and maybe you might not resent someone like Andrew Tate so much, or anybody that has decided to believe in themselves, because it does take a level of courage to believe in yourself at all. Anyone that owns a business that you work at was someone that believed in themselves. You resent your owner at, wherever you work, ANZ, or
They probably do.
if you work, and it's sorry, that's absolutely silly, because he's a human, and it's okay to deem yourself worthy of love, happiness, success, and appreciate someone else's ability to know that their journey is, different from yours, So
All I say is just put your head down, hustle. That's all I say to men. Put your head down, hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Take care of your masculine duties. Take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, everything else falls into place. Strong body, strong mind.
Yo.
Love you guys, man.
Have a beautiful day.
That's right. Thank you, Bender. Solid send-off.
Au revoir.
Au revoir, guys. We out. Peace.
Yes.
Wrap it up.
Push P. Yeah, push P. Turn me up. Turn me up, P. Corners in the paddock, gave my piece. Push P.
Cop new hammers for my beat. We don't want no peace.
Got spread across the back.
Peace. Drop the data, now we platinum. Inside the peace. She not a lesbian for peace. She turned lesbian. Push P.
Push P. On capital P, I write the president, count president.
Portuguese on her knees, mopping down a P.
She let me squeeze, then she leave, cause she took the P.
Private suite, bitch, I'm pushing P.
Purple paint, piece of pink, bitch, I'm pushing P.
Push P.
Push P.
want a cup of water. Push your P, red bandana cards. I'ma pee you out your whole endorsement. She ain't vanilla for me, she simply portions. I never saw ops, now we finally touching. She ready to get in the streets with me, no question. Too rich to text, I let my shoulder forward. Take the pit